Firefighters in Texas rescued a driver trapped inside a vehicle surrounded by fast-moving floodwaters despite having no dedicated swiftwater rescue team and limited equipment on hand. According to Associated Press, local media reported the incident occurred on July 4 when the vehicle became lodged against trees as floodwaters rose. Responders devised a technical rescue plan and used ropes, life rings and personal flotation devices to reach the occupant. The driver was safely pulled from the vehicle and taken to a hospital for evaluation. The death toll from catastrophic flooding in Texas over the July 4th weekend surpassed 100 on Monday as search and rescue teams continued to wade into swollen rivers and use heavy equipment to untangle trees as part of the massive search for missing people. Authorities overseeing the search for flood victims said they will wait to address questions about weather warnings and why some summer camps did not evacuate ahead of the flooding that killed at least 104.
The German authorities are well aware of the need to strengthen national security to protect against Russian threats. Russia is already attacking Germany, actively waging a hybrid war against the country. The head of the German government, Friedrich Merz, spoke about this on the Maischberger show. Information war. In particular, there are attempts at sabotage, dissemination of disinformation, and fake news, including those created using artificial intelligence. For example, propaganda channels such as Russia Today systematically misinform the German population. In addition, attacks on infrastructure, arson and sabotage are being recorded in the country, which are probably the work of Russian special services. Almost all traces lead to Russia, the Chancellor added. Meanwhile, representatives of the Green Party wrote a letter to the Chancellor in which they called on the head of government to allocate more money to support Ukraine, Bild reports. Lawmakers are unhappy that the budget for military support for Kiev has only been increased to 8.3 billion euros. They are demanding an urgent increase in military aid to 8.5 billion euros after information emerged that the United States has suspended some weapon supplies to Ukraine. The deputies emphasized that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is openly rejecting peace initiatives and intends to continue military aggression. Ukraine urgently needs to strengthen its air defense to counter Russian air attacks. In this case, Bild reports that Kiev sent the German government a comprehensive request for military assistance, including modern air defense systems and missiles for them, armored vehicles and various means for engineering and defense tasks. The contents of the request, according to journalists, 4 Iris-T SLM systems and 2,000 missiles for them, 200,000 40mm shells for the Gepard anti-aircraft mounts, 1,000 mine-protected armored vehicles, 200 tracked armored vehicles, 30 engineering vehicles for mine clearance, from 20 to 30 Y-Cent engineering vehicles, 200 SUVs, 1,000 GPS signal jamming systems to combat drones, 200 ground-based surveillance radar stations. According to the publication sources among the military and politicians, such a list does exist. However, official Berlin does not comment on it, citing security considerations and the confidentiality of such requests. For reasons of military security and in accordance with the new line of communication of the federal government on support for Ukraine, we do not comment on individual support measures, the German Defense Ministry told journalists. The publication adds that it is unclear how the German authorities will respond to the Ukrainian request. With Donald Trump finally admitting that Russia harbors ambitions beyond Ukraine, Estonia's defense ministry is bracing for what comes next, as military confrontation with Russia appears increasingly inevitable. At the recent NATO meeting in The Hague, after speaking with Zelensky, Trump openly stated that Putin's territorial goals stretch far beyond Ukraine. Euromaidan Press media outlet says, these revelations expose Moscow's intent to destabilize its neighbors, with Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania emerging as primary targets due to their geographical vulnerability. Estonia's 183-mile border with Russia, especially near Narva, is well within reach of Russian artillery. NATO's Article 5, which mandates collective defense, faces a critical test as Russia escalates its rhetoric. Still, Moscow appears keen to avoid triggering it directly, instead opting for provocative actions masked as defensive responses. Estonia's Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur confirmed that Estonia is prepared to host F-35 multi-role stealth fighters as part of NATO's Baltic air policing mission. Euromaidan Press says, these aircraft serve both as a deterrent and as protection for NATO airspace. Despite the F-35 not being assigned nuclear missions in Estonia, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called it an immediate threat, framing the deployment as reckless escalation. This narrative is being amplified by Russian media, which paints NATO as the aggressor, despite having its own nuclear forces already stationed within rapid striking distance of NATO's border, 15 to 20 minutes. No nuclear warheads are stored in Estonia, unlike some NATO sites in Germany or Turkey, underscoring that the deployment is strategic rather than escalatory. Nonetheless, Russia's messaging hints at pretext building for future military action. Estonia, along with Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Finland, is fortifying the 3,450-kilometer border with Russia and Belarus, creating a modern Iron Curtain, Euromaidan Press says. This new Iron Curtain, supplemented by anti-personnel mines after these nations left the Ottawa Treaty banning them, aims to deter Russia by making any confrontation on the ground lengthy enough for NATO's larger militaries to arrive and help. Estonia alone has invested €5.2 million in defences near Narva, including 32 bunkers, anti-tank barriers and 12 ammunition depots. The dense forests and Lake Peipus add natural obstacles along the rest of the border. In June 2025, Estonia's Storm 25 exercises involved 6,000 Estonian troops and over 10,000 NATO allies, simulating defense operations against Russian advances. Euromaidan Press says Lithuania's defense budget is set to reach 5.5% of GDP, signaling regional urgency. While Estonia's actions are defensive, Moscow's portrayal of them as provocations raises risks of escalation. The Baltic frontier is increasingly fortified and the stakes are high. Estonia's defense is on the line, and Moscow is watching.